In the Imperium of Man, there are no accidents, only statistics. On the Hive world of Morthaven Secundus, 17 billion souls exist in vertical cities that pierce the clouds and burrow into the planet's crust. The air tastes of promethium and recycled sweat. The sky, when visible, glows the color of infected flesh. Here, children are not precious. They are potential. Potential labor. Potential soldiers. Potential meat for the servitor forges. The administratum keeps records. Always record. Every birth is logged. Every death is noted. Every orphan is categorized within 7 solar days of parental loss. The system is efficient because it has to be. The Imperium cannot afford sentiment when feeding 17 billion mouths requires food shipments from 12 agricultural worlds. In Section Gamma 97, sub-level Tertius, there is a processing facility. The walls are the color of old bone. The lighting flickers in rhythms that suggest the machine spirits are tired. Children arrive in groups of 50. They stand in line. They do not cry anymore. Crying was for the first day. A servitor, more machine than memory, scans each child. Bone density, cognitive function. The data flows into cogitators that have been calculating for 3,000 years. Some children are marked with green ink. They will go to the labor guilds. 12-hour shifts in the reclamation factories. If they survive to 16, they might earn a name again. Some are marked with blue ink. They will join the Astra Militarum. The Emperor protects, and they will learn to hold a lasgun before they learn to read. Some are marked with black ink. The cult Mechanicus always needs raw material for servitor conversion. The flesh is weak, but it can be improved. It can be repurposed. And some children receive no mark at all. They are statistical anomalies. Too sick, too small, too broken by whatever killed their parents. The administratum does not waste resources on anomalies. These children are escorted to a different wing. The records list their destination as Reclamation Unit 12. The records do not explain what is reclaimed. No one asks. In the Imperium, asking questions is how you become a statistic yourself. But the Imperium, for all its records and rituals, cannot see everything. Hive cities are too vast, too old, built upon the ruins of earlier cities, which were built upon the ruins of colonies, which were built upon the bones of civilizations whose names have been forgotten for 10,000 years. There are spaces between the spaces, gaps in the architecture, tunnels that lead nowhere or everywhere depending on how small you are. And in those gaps, children vanish. Not many, just enough to be blamed on clerical errors. The administratum adjusts the statistics and moves on. But those children do not disappear into death. They disappear into the walls, into the forgotten maintenance corridors, into the spaces where the Imperium's gaze does not reach. They survive, somehow, and when the adults whisper about them in the work shifts, they speak of impossibility. How could children live where even rats struggle? How could they evade every sweep, every servitor patrol, every enforcer search? The adults do not know. But the children who live in the walls, they know one truth the Imperium has not catalogued. They know they are not alone in the dark. Her name is Lena, though names only matter when someone remembers them. She is 9 years old, maybe 10. The counting stopped mattering when her mother coughed blood onto the factory floor and never stood up again. That was 8 months ago, or maybe a year. Time moves strangely when you live by the rhythm of distant generators instead of daylight. Lena lives in Passage 73. It is not a real name. The administratum never labeled this space because it was never meant to exist. It formed when sublevel Tertius was built over sublevel Quartus 3 centuries ago, and the architectures did not align perfectly. The gap is 11 meters long and wide enough for a child to walk if they turn sideways. 6 children live here now. Kale is the oldest at 14. He has a scar across his throat from where an overseer struck him with a shock maul. He has not spoken since, but he can whistle, low and sharp, the signal that means run. Tobin and Mira are twins. 7 years old. They were born in the Underhive and their mother sold them to a labor guild for 3 thrones and a protein ration. They escaped during a power failure. They still hold hands when they sleep. Dex is 12 and missing 2 fingers on his left hand. A servitor mistook him for raw material once. He got away. The servitor did not follow. Servitors do not chase what their programming does not recognize. And then there is Ren, 4 years old. He does not remember his parents. Lena found him crying in a waste junction, and now he follows her everywhere. They survive because they are invisible. They move during shift changes when the noise covers footsteps. They steal nutri-paste from supply crates stamped with the Aquila. They drink condensation from pipes that sweat with the Hive's exhalations. They have learned which tunnels flood and which ones lead to servitor patrol routes. They have learned to be silent, but they have also learned to listen. Because for the past 6 weeks there has been something else in the tunnels. It started with sound, a low rhythmic hum, mechanical but not cold. It reminded Lena of the way her mother used to hum while working, a sound that meant safety. Then came the footsteps. Not the efficient march of enforcers or the erratic skittering of the Hive's mutated vermin. These steps had weight, deliberate weight. Cale saw it first. He had been scavenging near the old coolant junction when the lights flickered, and in the brief darkness he saw a shape, easily twice the height of a man. It stood in the flooded passage, water up to its knees, unmoving. Cale ran. He did not look back. But when he returned to passage 73 and tried to explain with frantic gestures, the others did not believe him. The Underhive is full of stories. Monsters in the dark, ghosts of servitors gone rogue, the imaginations of starving children. Until Mira heard the drill. She had been crawling through a ventilation shaft, searching for a way into the administratum storage wing, when the sound came from below. A deep grinding rotation. Not hostile. Just present. She froze, pressed against the metal grating, and looked down. In the chamber below it stood, a giant encased in armor that looked like it had been forged from the bones of some ancient sea creature. A helmet with porthole eyes that glowed a soft amber gold, and on its right arm a drill, motionless but ready. It was not looking at her. It was looking at the wall where someone had scratched a child's drawing in the rust. Mira had drawn it 3 days ago. The giant stared at the sun for a long time. Then it turned and walked into the deeper dark, water sloshing with each step. Mira did not move for an hour. Now the children speak of it in whispers during the sleep hours when the Hive's machinery quiets to a dull roar. Tobin calls it the Iron Father. Dex calls it the Drill Beast. Ren, who barely speaks, calls it the Friend. Lena does not know what to call it. But she knows one thing. In 8 months of living in these walls, not a single child has disappeared from passage 73. Not to enforcers, not to servitors, not to the sickness that takes others in the dark. It is as if something is keeping watch. And when Lena lies awake listening to Ren's soft breathing beside her, she hears it. Distant, but there. The hum of something vast and patient moving through the forgotten places. A sound that does not frighten her. A sound that feels impossibly like protection. He does not remember his name. Names belong to the world above, the world of light and air and voices that form words. He exists below that now. Below memory. Below language. He exists in purpose. The drill on his right arm hums with a low harmonic frequency. It is not active. It has not been active for 72 hours. But it is ready. Always ready. The machinery within his suit breathes with him, a fusion of flesh and function that no longer distinguishes between the two. He walks through passage 9 Kappa, a maintenance corridor that has not seen human presence in decades. The water reaches his waist. It is filthy, clotted with algae and chemical runoff, but he does not notice. His suit filters what needs filtering. His body endures what remains. The porthole eyes of his helmet glow amber in the darkness. They do not see the way human eyes see. They see heat signatures, structural integrity, movement patterns. But beneath the machine logic, something older persists. Instinct. He stops, tilts his head. There is a sound. High-pitched. It cuts through the rumble of the Hive's infrastructure like a needle through fabric. Crying. His body turns before his mind fully processes the decision. His footsteps quicken, water surging around his legs. The drill hums louder, not in threat, but in anticipation. He has heard this sound before. Many times. It is the sound that pulls him from one corridor to another, from one forgotten sublevel to the next. It is the sound of a child in distress. He follows it through a collapsed junction where the ceiling is caved in, creating a slope of rubble and rebar. He climbs it effortlessly, his armored weight cracking stone, but his hands careful, deliberate, placing each grip where the structure will hold. At the top he finds a ventilation shaft. The crying comes from within. He cannot fit. The opening is too narrow. But he can see through the grating movement. Trembling, he does not speak. He has no words anymore. But he lowers himself to one knee, bringing his helmet level with the grate, and he waits. Slowly a face appears, maybe 5 years old. His face is streaked with grime and tears. His eyes widen when he sees the helmet, the glowing eyes, the drill. The boy stops crying. For a moment neither moves. Then the boy crawls forward, pressing his small hands against the grate. The Guardian lifts one hand, slowly, and places it against the metal from his side. His hand is massive, fingers thick as the boy's wrists, but the gesture is unmistakable. The boy smiles. It is a fragile, broken thing, that smile. But it is real. The Guardian remains there for 11 minutes. He does not move, does not leave. The boy eventually curls up against the grate, exhausted, and falls asleep with his hands still pressed to the metal. Only then does the Guardian rise. He marks the location in whatever passes for his memory now. He will return. He will check. If the boy needs help, he will provide it. If the boy is safe, he will move on. This is what he does. This is all he does. He descends back into the water, back into the tunnels, back into the rhythm that has defined him since he arrived in this hive. He does not know how long he has been here. Time is measured in distress calls answered and children found and threats neutralized. Somewhere deep in the architecture of his mind, beneath the conditioning and the fusion, a question flickers. Why does he do this? There is no reward, no recognition. The children do not know his name because he does not have one. The Imperium does not thank him because the Imperium does not know he exists. He is alone in this. And yet, he continues. Because when he hears the crying, something in him responds. Something that the helmet and the drill and the armor cannot suppress. Something human. He walks deeper into sublevel quartus, where the air grows thicker and the darkness more complete. His suit systems adjust. His breathing steadies. The drill hums its endless, patient song. Above him the hive continues. 17 billion souls grinding through existence. The Imperium's machinery turning without pause. And below, in the spaces forgotten, a Guardian walks his rounds. Unyielding. The sweep begins at OCI 600 hours, Hive Standard Time. 12 Adeptus Arbite, 4 Mechanicus personnel. 2 Administratum overseers with data slates and authority seals. They move through sub-level Tertius with practiced efficiency, boots striking metal grating in unison. This is Reclamation Operation Sigma 7, authorized by Subsector Command. Legal under Imperial Decree 973 Alpha. The Underhive has been flagged for orphan surplus. Resources are being wasted on unregistered minors. The operation will correct this. The Arbites carry suppression shields and shock mauls. Lethal force is not anticipated. These are children, not heretics. The Mechanicus personnel carry Auspex scanners tuned to detect biosigns in enclosed spaces. The machine spirits whisper coordinates. The tech priests chant binaric prayers of gratitude. They begin with the outer corridors, the places where runaways are known to hide. They find 3 children in the first hour. The children do not resist. Resistance was beaten out of the Underhive generations ago. The children are scanned, cataloged, and escorted to a transport servitor. They will be processed at the facility. They will be given purpose. The Emperor By the 3rd hour, the sweep reaches passage 73. Lena hears them coming. Everyone in the passage hears them. The boots, the augmented voices, the mechanical whir of Auspex scanners. Kale whistles. The children scatter. Tobin and Mira go left, into a ventilation shaft they have used before. Dex goes right, toward the old water junction. Ren freezes, eyes wide, and Lena grabs his hand, pulling him toward a gap in the wall she has been saving for emergencies. But Ren is small, clumsy. His foot catches on a piece of rebar and he falls hard, crying out. The Arbite's here. Footsteps quicken. Lena pulls Ren to his feet, but it is too late. The Arbite's round the corner, shields raised, mauls crackling with charge. Halt, Imperial authority. You are in violation of Settlement Compliance Act 479. The voice is emotionless. Lena steps in front of Ren. She is 9 years old. She weighs 32 kilograms. She has no weapons, no leverage, no hope, but she does not move. The lead Arbites approaches. He is tall, faceless behind his helmet, the Aquila embossed on his chest plate. He reaches for Ren, and then the air changes. It is subtle at first, a vibration in the walls, a hum that resonates in the chest. The Arbites pauses. The hum grows louder. From the tunnel behind Lena, something moves. The Arbites raises his shield instinctively, activating his helmet's lumens. The light catches metal. Curve. Big Daddy steps into the passage. He fills the space. His helmet nearly scrapes the ceiling. His drill arm hangs at his side, dormant but undeniable. His porthole eyes glow amber, fixed on the Arbites. He does not make a sound. He simply stands between the enforcers and the children. The lead Arbites engages his vox. Command, we have contact with an unidentified Xenos or mutant entity, requesting. Big Daddy takes one step forward. The Arbites takes one step back. Stand down, abomination, you are interfering with Imperial operations. Compliance is mandatory. Big Daddy does not respond, does not retreat. The second Arbites raises his suppression maul. Final warning. Nothing. The maul discharges. A crackling arc of energy designed to incapacitate a grown man. It strikes Big Daddy's chest plate. Sparks cascade. The smell of ozone fills the passage. Big Daddy does not flinch. The Arbites tries again. Same result. The lead Arbite switches to lethal protocol. Neutralize the target. Bolt pistols are drawn. Sanctioned. Each round capable of punching through ceramite. The sound is deafening in the enclosed space. Bolter rounds hammer into Big Daddy's armor. Explosions ripple across his chest, his shoulders, his helmet. Lena screams. Ren buries his face in her shoulder. Big Daddy absorbs every shot. His armor cracks. Scoring marks appear, deep gouges where the shells detonate. But the armor holds. It was made to hold. Made to protect little sisters from the horrors of Rapture's depths. The horrors of the Imperium are not so different. When the Arbites empty their magazines, there is silence. Big Daddy still stands. And then slowly he raises his drill arm. The Arbites tense, shields interlocking, preparing for the charge. But Big Daddy does not charge. Instead, he slams the drill into the wall beside him. The metal shrieks. Sparks fly. And the wall, weakened by centuries of corrosion, collapses inward, revealing a passage beyond. He turns his helmet toward Lena and Ren. The porthole eyes pulse once. Lena understands. She grabs Ren and runs, slipping through the gap into the dark passage, away from the Imperium's reach. Big Daddy waits until they are gone. Then he steps backward, blocking the gap with his body. The Arbites do not pursue. They are trained for compliance operations, not protracted combat with unknown entities. They retreat, calling for reinforcements, for heavier arms, for Mechanicus analysis. Big Daddy remains in the passage unmoving until their footsteps fade. Only then does he turn and walk deeper into the dark, the hum of his drill a lullaby in the forgotten spaces of the Hive. The reinforcements arrive in 47 minutes. 20 Adeptus Arbites. 6 combat servitors. 2 Skitarii from the Mechanicus garrison. A tech priest with an Auspex array mounted on servo arms. And 1 arbitrator captain, a veteran of compliance operations across 9 Hive worlds. His name is Voss. He has seen mutants, heretics, and genostealer hybrids. He has authorized exterminatus protocols on civilian sectors when infection spread too far. He does not scare easily. But when the Auspex data reaches his helm display, he pauses. The entity is still there. Stationary. Blocking passage 73. It has not moved, has not attacked, has not fled. It is simply waiting. Pattern analysis? Voss asks. The tech priest's augmented voice crackles. Unknown classification. Armor composition inconsistent with Imperial, Xenos, or Chaos signatures. Biosigns present but heavily augmented. Threat assessment extreme. Armament. Rotary drill mechanism. Close combat oriented. No ranged capability detected. Voss considers close combat only. Defensive posture. Protecting unregistered minors. This is not a predator. This is a guardian. That makes it more dangerous. Authorization for lethal suppression granted. Engage. The Arbites move in formation. Shields forward. Servitors flanking. The Skitarii hang back. Galvanic rifles charged and ready. They find Big Daddy where he was left, standing in the collapsed passage, water pooling around his boots. Drill. Arm idle. He does not turn to face them. He is watching the gap in the wall, the place where the children escaped. Vost activates his external vox. You are in violation of Imperial law. Stand down or be destroyed. Big Daddy's helmet shifts, slow. The porthole eyes focus on Vost. He does not move. Fire. The Skitarii open up first. Galvanic rounds crack through the air, ionized trails burning in the dark. They strike Big Daddy's back, his shoulders, his legs. He takes one step forward, toward the gap, toward the children. Not away, not toward the Arbites, toward the innocents. Vost grits his teeth. Combat servitors. Close and detain. The servitors lumber forward. Heavily augmented, strength enhanced, each one capable of tearing through a barricade. They reach for Big Daddy. He moves. The drill activates, not a roar, a hum that rises to a scream. He does not swing wildly, does not lash out. He is precise. The first servitor grabs his shoulder. Big Daddy pivots, drives the drill into its knee joint. Sparks explode. The servitor collapses, its locomotion severed. The second servitor swings a piston-driven fist. Big Daddy catches it with his free hand. The impact echoes like a cathedral bell. For a moment, they are locked. Then Big Daddy twists, redirecting the momentum, and slams the servitor into the wall. The wall cracks. The servitor does not rise. The third servitor attempts a grapple. Big Daddy does not resist. He lets it grab him, pull him down. And then he surges upward, lifting the servitor with him, and hurls it back toward the Arbites. It crashes into the formation, scattering shields and bodies. The Skitarii continue firing. Big Daddy ignores them. He steps toward the wall, the one separating him from the children's escape route, and begins to drill, not to attack, to create. The wall shudders, metal screams. A hole forms, wide enough for a child, then two, then five. Vost realizes the intent. He is creating an escape network. Disable him now. The remaining servitors charge. The Arbites activate shock mauls in advance. Big Daddy does not stop drilling, but his free hand moves. He grabs a length of rebar from the rubble and swings it like a staff. The lead Arbites takes it across the helmet. His shield cracks. He falls. Another Arbite swings a maul. It connects with Big Daddy's ribs. Energy discharges. Big Daddy grunts. The first sound he has made, but he does not fall. He finishes the hole, steps through it, turns back to face the Imperium, and then he does something that Vost will report, and his superiors will not believe. Big Daddy raises one hand, palm out, a gesture, stop, not a threat, a request. Vost stares. The entity could have killed. It has the strength, the weaponry, the clear advantage, in close quarters. But it did not. It disabled. It redirected. It defended. It did not chase when the Arbites fell back. Did not pursue when the servitors collapsed. It only protected. Vost lowers his bolt pistol. Ceasefire. The tech priest mechadendrites twitch in confusion. Arbitrator Captain, the entity remains. I said ceasefire. The Skitarii stop. The Arbites hold position. Big Daddy stands in the passage, water dripping from his armor, drill still humming. Vost's voice is quieter now. What are you? Big Daddy does not answer. He cannot, but his porthole eyes dim slightly, and then he turns, stepping back into the deeper tunnels, away from the Imperium, away from conflict. He walks until he is swallowed by the dark. Vost watches him go. One of the Arbites approaches. Sir, we have wounded. We should pursue no. But mark this sector as hazardous. Non-compliant entity present. File it under anomalous phenomena. Let the Inquisition deal with it if they care. Vost turns back toward the Hive's upper levels, toward the light, toward the Imperium's endless machinery. But he does not forget the hand raised in peace. The monster who did not chase. Lena does not sleep for 2 days. She stays awake in the new hiding place. A junction 3 levels down from passage 73. It is colder here, darker. The walls weep condensation that tastes of rust and chemicals. But it is safe. Ren sleeps beside her, curled into a ball. His breathing soft and even. Kale sits near the entrance, watching. Always watching. Tobin and Mira huddle together, whispering the way they always do, a language only they understand. Dex is cleaning his hands, over and over, scrubbing them with dirty water. He has not spoken since the Arbites came. Lena watches him and wonders if she should say something. But what is there to say? They survived. That is all. They survived because of the giant. She closes her eyes and sees it again. The way he stood between them and the Imperium. The way the bolter rounds hammered into him and he did not fall. The way he did not fight back. Not truly, only pushed and blocked and created space for them to run. And the sound, that hum. Deep and mechanical and somehow impossibly comforting. When she opens her eyes, Tobin is staring at her. "You saw him," Tobin whispers. Lena nods. "He is real. He saved us." Lena does not answer immediately. She looks at Ren, at Kale, at Dex still scrubbing his hands. "Yes," she says finally. "He did." Mira crawls closer. Her eyes are wide, hungry for something that is not food. Will he come back? Lena does not know. She wants to say yes. She wants to believe that the giant is still out there, still watching, still protecting. But the Underhive has taught her not to believe in things that are too good. "I do not know," she says. Mira's face falls. Tobin puts an arm around her. Kale whistles. A new pattern. Not run. Not hide. Lena understands. She nods. Over the next weeks, the story spreads. It begins with the children in Passage 73. They speak to other groups. The ones who live in ventilation shafts and abandoned storage units and the spaces where the Imperium does not look. They speak of the giant in the dark, the one with the round helmet and glowing eyes, the one who does not hurt, the one who protects. Some do not believe. The Underhive is full of stories. Ghosts and monsters and things that crawl in the black water. Most of them are lies told to scare children into obedience. But then others see him. A girl in sublevel Sextus. She was cornered by a press ganger, a man who sells children to the labor guilds for profit. She screamed, and from the tunnel behind her, footsteps. Slow. The press ganger looked up, saw the shape. The girl survived, a boy in sublevel Quintus. He fell into a flooded chamber, could not swim, was drowning. A hand reached down. It pulled him out, set him on dry ground, and was gone before he could see more than the glow of amber eyes. He survived. The stories multiply. They change. They grow. Some say the giant is a broken servitor, its programming corrupted into kindness. Some say it is a lost space marine, cast out from his chapter, atoning in silence. Some say it is older, something from before the Imperium, a relic of the dark age of technology. No one knows the truth. But the children, the ones who have seen him, they do not care about truth. They care about the feeling that somewhere in the dark someone is watching over them. They begin to draw him. Crude pictures scratched into walls with rocks and nails. A round helmet, glowing eyes, a drill that does not hurt. They do not worship him. The Imperium has taught them what worship looks like, and this is not that. This is gratitude. Comfort. In sublevel Tertius, where the Arbites conducted their sweep, someone draws the giant on the wall near the old Passage 73. Beneath it, they scratch a single word in Gothic script. Guardian. Within days, there are more drawings. Other sublevels. Other passages. Always the same image. Always the same word. The adults see them. The ones who work the factorums and the reclamation plants. They do not understand. They think it is a gang sign, a new cult, something that will draw the Arbites back. They scrub the drawings away. The children draw them again. And in the deepest parts of the Underhive, where even the Imperium's light does not reach, the children whisper a new prayer. Not to the Emperor, not to the machine spirit, to the one who walks alone, the one who asks for nothing, the one who protects. They do not know his name. They do not know where he came from. But when they are afraid, they think of him, and the fear is a little less. The report reaches Inquisitor Corel Voss 3 weeks after Reclamation Operation Sigmo 7. It is buried in a data stack 7,000 entries deep, flagged as anomalous but low priority. Voss almost does not see it. But he has learned, over 40 years of service to the Ordo Xenos, that the most dangerous threats begin as footnotes. He reads the report in his quarters aboard the strike cruiser Unrelenting Truth. The ship is in transit between worlds, hunting a genestealer cult that has infected 4 systems. There is little time for distractions. But this report is not a distraction. It is a problem. Unknown entity, non-chaos signature, defensive behavior, protecting unregistered minors, resisted Imperial authority without lethal escalation. Voss reads it twice. Then he summons his interrogator, a young woman named Kale, with augmented eyes and a mind sharp enough to cut. "What do you make of this?" he asks, sliding the data slate across the table. Kale reads. Her eyes flicker, processing. Possible Xenos infiltration, unlikely given the behavioral profile. Possible rogue servitor, unlikely given the autonomy. Possible corruption? Chaos? Voss asks. No, sir. The Auspex readings show no warp contamination, no demonic presence, no mutation consistent with ruinous powers. Voss leans back. Then what? Kale hesitates. Permission to speculate, sir? Granted. It reads like a protector, something programmed or compelled to defend the helpless, but nothing in the Imperium's arsenal matches that profile. Our servitors do not care. Our space marines do not linger in underhives. Our machinery does not act without command, which leaves an external origin, something from outside Imperial space, something that does not belong. Voss nods slowly. And yet it is here, on an Imperial Hive world, interfering with Imperial operations, protecting children, sir. Voss looks at her. Does that matter? Kale meets his gaze. Under Imperial law, no, sir. Unauthorized entities are to be purged regardless of intent. But, sir, if we purge everything that protects the innocent, what does that make us? Voss is silent for a long moment. Then he stands, walking to the viewport, staring out at the void. It makes us the Imperium, he says quietly. Kale does not respond. Voss continues. The entity is not the problem, Kale. The entity is doing what it was designed to do, protecting, defending. It is pure in that sense. Then why is it a problem, sir? Voss turns. Because hope is spreading. Kale frowns. Voss gestures to the data slate. Read the secondary reports. The ones filed by administratum overseers. They note a decrease in child labor compliance, an increase in escape attempts, graffiti appearing in underhive sectors depicting an unknown symbol, whispers among the lower classes of a guardian in the dark. Kale's augmented eyes widen. They are believing in it. Exactly, the entity itself is not heretical, but the faith it inspires is unauthorized. The Imperium controls belief, Kale. The Emperor, the machine spirits, the saints, these are permitted. But faith in something else? Faith in a protector who is not Imperial? That undermines the structure. That undermines everything. Voss picks up the data slate. If the people of the Underhive believe they do not need the Imperium's protection, they will stop obeying the Imperium's commands. If they believe something else can save them, they will stop praying to the Emperor. And if that belief spreads, it becomes rebellion. It becomes a question, and questions, Kale, are more dangerous than bombs. Kale is quiet. Then carefully, what are your orders, sir? Voss considers. He could authorize an immediate purge. Send a kill team. Obliterate the entity and anyone who has seen it. Burn the underhive sections and call it cleansing. It would be efficient. It would be Imperial. But Voss has seen what happens when the Imperium acts without understanding. He has watched worlds burn because an Inquisitor moved too quickly. He has learned slowly, painfully, that the greatest threats are the ones you do not comprehend. We investigate, he says. Quietly, I want surveillance teams deployed to Morthaven Secundus. I want Auspex scans of the Underhive. I want to know what this entity is, where it came from, and what it wants. And if it is hostile, then we purge it, and if it is not. Voss meets her eyes. Then we decide what is more dangerous, the entity itself, or the hope it creates. Kale salutes and leaves. Voss remains at the viewport, staring into the void. He has served the Imperium for 4 decades. He has killed Xenos, traitors, and heretics without hesitation. He has authorized the deaths of millions in the Emperor's name. But he has also learned that the Imperium is not always right. It is simply all there is. And if something else offers hope, even false hope, people will reach for it. Because the Imperium offers many things. But hope is not one of them. Voss closes his eyes. Emperor, guide me, he whispers. But in the silence that follows, he wonders if the Emperor is listening. Or if, in the dark places of the galaxy, something else is answering prayers. Big Daddy stands in the flooded chamber where he first heard Lena's voice. It has been 19 days since the confrontation with the Arbites. 19 days since he created the escape passage. 19 days since he walked away from the Imperium's guns. He has returned 3 times to check on the children. They are still alive, still hiding, still safe. He has done what he can. But now there is a change. He feels it in the way his suit's sensors pick up increased activity. More patrols, more Auspex sweeps. The Imperium is looking for him. not with the clumsy aggression of the Arbites, with something colder, more patient, something that understands him. He does not know the word Inquisition. He does not understand the machinery of Imperial investigation. But his instincts, honed in the depths of rapture where predators learn to hunt him, recognize the pattern. He is being watched, and if he stays, the Watchers will find him. And when they find him, they will find the children. This is unacceptable. He moves through passage 73 one last time, slowly. His porthole eyes sweep the space where Lena and Ren and the others used to sleep. They are not here now. They have moved deeper, as he taught them, always moving, never staying too long in one place. They are learning. They will survive. On the wall, he sees the drawing, the crude sketch of his helmet, the glowing eyes, the word beneath in a script he cannot read but understands. Guardian. He stares at it for a long time. He does not feel pride. Pride is a human emotion, and he is not certain how much of him is still human. But he feels something, a resonance, an echo of purpose fulfilled. He raises one hand and places it against the drawing. His fingers cover it completely. For a moment he imagines the child who drew it, imagines them safe, imagines them growing up in a galaxy that does not devour them. It is a foolish imagining. The galaxy does not allow such things, but he imagines it anyway. Then he lowers his hand and turns away. He walks through the passages he has come to know, the flooded junctions, the collapsed corridors, the places where the Hive's forgotten infrastructure still breathes. He marks them in his memory, not because he will return, but because something in him needs to remember. He passes the chamber where he pulled the drowning boy from the water, the junction where he stood between the press ganger and the girl, the tunnel where he first heard Mira crying in the ventilation shaft. Each place is empty now. The children have moved on, as they should. He reaches the deepest part of sublevel Sextus, where the Hive's machinery gives way to older structures. Archaeotech, pre-Imperial. The walls here are smooth, not riveted, and the air tastes different. There is a passage here, one he has not explored. It leads down, deeper, into parts of the Hive that even the Underhive does not acknowledge. He takes it. His footsteps echo. The water rises to his chest. His suit compensates. He descends. Behind him, the Hive continues. The children hide and survive. The Imperium searches. The Inquisition watches. But he is no longer there. He moves through the dark, following the hum of distant machinery, the pull of something he does not understand, but cannot ignore. There are other places, other children, other cries in the dark, and he will answer them. Because this is what he is. Not a man, not a machine, something in between. A guardian without a ward, a protector without a home. He does not need thanks, does not need recognition. He only needs to hear the crying, and he will come. In the passage behind him, water drips. The Hive breathe. The Imperium turns. And somewhere in the dark, a child wakes from a nightmare, listens, and hears the faint, distant hum of a drill. It is not close, but it is there. And the child closes their eyes and sleeps again, because they know, even if he is gone, he was real. Months pass. Seasons, if Hive worlds had such things. Time measured in shift rotations and tithe cycles, and the slow grinding of the Imperium's eternal machinery. Morthaven Secundus continues. 17 billion souls, Factorums produce, Administratum files, the Arbites enforce. In sublevel Tertius reclamation operations resume, children are collected, given purpose. Some still escape, fewer than before, but some. And when they do, they find the drawings, the round helmet, the glowing eyes, the drill. The symbol has spread, not just sublevel Tertius. Other levels, travelers carry the image. Refugees scratch it onto walls in new cities. It becomes something the Imperium cannot quite name. Not a cult. The children do not pray to it. Not rebellion. The children do not fight in its name. It is simply a reminder that once something protected them. That once they were not alone. The Inquisition investigates. Inquisitor Voss spends 3 months on Morthaven Secundus. He walks the Underhive himself, studying the drawings, interviewing survivors. He finds no entity, no Xenos presence, no warp contamination. Only stories. And the more he listens, the more he realizes the truth. The entity is gone. It left, voluntarily. to protect the very children it saved. Voss writes his report carefully. He classifies the entity as non-hostile, recommends observation over extermination, suggests that belief in the symbol while unauthorized is not heretical. The report is filed, reviewed, stamped with the seal of the Ordo Xenos, and then quietly ignored. The Imperium has larger concerns. A Hive world's ghost story is not worth the resources. But Voss keeps a copy in his personal files. And sometimes, late in the ship night, he looks at the image. A guardian who asked for nothing, who protected without command, who left to keep those he saved safe. Voss wonders what the Imperium would look like if it had more guardians like that. Then he closes the file and returns to his duty. Because wondering is not the same as changing. In the Underhive of Morthaven Secundus, Lena is 11 now, taller. She leads a group of 15 children, teaching them the things Kale and Dax and the others taught her. How to hide, how to move, how to survive. She does not speak of the giant often. But when new children join, frightened and alone, she tells them the story. Once there was a guardian. He did not speak. He did not ask for anything. But when the Imperium came, he stood between us and them. And he did not fall. The new children listen. Some believe, some do not. But they all sleep a little easier. Ren is 6 now. He does not remember the Arbites, does not remember the bolt-arounds or the fear. But he remembers the hum, deep and steady, like a heartbeat made of metal. Sometimes in the quiet hours he hums it back. And somewhere far below in the forgotten depths where even the Underhive does not reach, a figure moves through the dark. His armor is scarred, his drill worn. His porthole eyes glow softly in the black. He does not remember his name, does not remember rapture, does not remember the little sisters or the world he lost. But he remembers the crying, and when he hears it, faint and distant, echoing through tunnels that have not known light in centuries, he turns toward it. His footsteps are slow, patient. The drill hum. And in the dark places of the galaxy, where the Imperium's light does not reach and the Emperor's gaze does not fall, a guardian walks his endless rounds. Unyielding, but not lost. Because as long as there are children crying in the dark, he will answer. As long as there is innocence to protect, he will stand. As long as the galaxy remains cruel, he will be kind. Not because it is commanded, not because it is rewarded, but because it is what he is. A monster who does not chase. A machine with a human heart. A relic of a dead world walking through the ruins of a dying galaxy. And somewhere above, in the Hive's upper levels where the light is bright and the air is clean, someone looks at the sky and wonders what lies beneath. They do not know. They cannot know. But if they could descend far enough, if they could walk through the dark long enough, they would hear it. The hum of the drill, the echo of footsteps, the sound of something vast and patient moving through the forgotten places. A guardian. Waiting. Protecting. End of episode 1.